Hi everyone, welcome back to Candid Football Conversations. We've got Arunava Chaudhuri here with us, Nilanjan Datta, and Curious Harry. Guys, we're here to talk about India versus Kuwait game, preview the semi-final on Saturday. We did get a little bit of a frustrating finish towards the end of this India-Kuwait game. Igor Stimac sending himself off pretty much, and Anwar Ali's unfortunate own goal. India ended up playing out a one-all draw to Kuwait, which means that we finish second in the group and play Lebanon most likely in the semi-finals. Guys, there is no other thing to talk about right now. It's Igor's team match. What happened there? What do we make of the situation? Arunava, I'll come straight to you first. What do you make of the entire situation?
Sadly to say is that whatever the coach has done is unacceptable. If you get sent off once in a while, that's normal. I mean, there are coaches like Guardiola or like Klopp who potentially also could be sent off every game, right? With their behaviors or antics, or Conte, even Tuchel belongs to that sort of class. But they know when to get into a game and when not. And after the yellow card that Stimac got, he again got involved. I mean, the other day against Pakistan, I don't know if you guys saw his social media posts about it. I found it very peculiar of trying to justify a mistake. If I'm honest, I've done a mistake, I say sorry. That is manning up. Stimac is whining. He's trying to cover up. He's done the mistake, nobody else. And to say that I am doing this for my team, for my boys, no, you are not. What, you're delaying a throw-in? No, you're not delaying a throw-in. You are, infringing of how a match is run. That was against Pakistan. And today, I don't know. And you see that it's spilling over on the boys. I get Google alerts on regard to Indian football. And after every match that we've played, there is at least one clip going online and going viral, which says India brawl with another team or whatever. And our players are not, Nilanjan has worked with most of them. These are not guys who normally will instigate trouble. Because we've had that kind of players. Baichung Bhute always knew, especially in the derbies, Baichung knew who to instigate. Even amongst his best friends, he's instigated. But these guys normally don't do that. And the way the behavior, it's just not acceptable. And again, I tweeted about it. Curious Harry or Hiren Bhai also has tweeted about it. It's just insane of a coach to do that, because in the end, I feel today's match was drawn because the coach brought this hecticness into the game unnecessarily towards the end against a Kuwait team who, to me, looked tactically better, like some of the teams that we played in the recent past, but were unable to actually score a goal. And then you see Anwar Ali, he's done these mistakes at Goa, and he's done these mistakes in the junior India setups as well in the past, or in the Indian Arrows as well. It happens. That is, I wouldn't blame the boy. He's played brilliantly over the last few matches whenever he's been called on. So therefore, that sort of thingy, I would say somebody, the coach brought it on us, sadly.
आई थिंक मैं अरुणा सर ने जो बोला, आई थिंक उसमें मैं थोड़ा सा एक ऐड करना चाहूंगा कि जैसे उन्होंने सोशल मीडिया पोस्ट डाली थी लास्ट टाइम, आई थिंक नाउ ही हैज दैट करेज और कर्टसी टू से दैट दिस इज माय मिस्टेक, मेरी वजह से बंदों का, लड़कों का फोकस वो हुआ और इसी की वजह चलते हम मैच ड्रॉ किया। ये उसमें कर्टसी है। आज मैं देखना चाहूंगा कि कल उसका ये कोई ट्वीट आता है। नहीं तो भाई आप भी मतलब आप लोगों को उल्लू ही बना रहे हो, सिंपल एज दैट, कि आप मैं लड़कों के लिए खड़ा बनो। ये कोई पूरी अननेसेसरी चीज थी भाई, कोई जरूरत नहीं थी। कोई वहां पे ऐसा सिचुएशन नहीं था कि आप पाकिस्तान वाला भी अननेसेसरी था, ये भी अननेसेसरी था। और लोगों को मतलब हमेशा से ये ह्यूमन बिहेवियर रहा है कि लोगों को फाइट देखना अच्छा लगता है। तो कल पोस्ट डाल देंगे लोग भी भाई, कर देंगे हाँ भाई ये तो जोसे मोरिन्यो है। ऐसे जोसे मोरिन्यो ऐसे पागल बंदा नहीं था भाई, वो ऐसी चीजें नहीं। उसको भी पता था कि कब टीम को जरूरत है तब वो रिएक्शन देता था। आपका अल्टीमेट गोल क्या होता है किसी भी प्लेयर कोचेस का, कि टीम को किस चीज से फायदा हो रहा है। इसमें तो आपने टीम को ये मैं देखना चाहता हूँ सच में कि कल इस बंदे में इतनी कर्टसी है कि बोले कि हाँ भाई ये मेरी गलती थी, मेरी वजह से टीम का फोकस लूज हुआ और इसी की चलते वो अनवर अली से गलती हुई या फिर जो भी हुआ और हमने ये गोल खाया लास्ट में। तब मैं मानूंगा कि हाँ भाई बंदा ऑनेस्ट है, बता रहा है कि हाँ भाई सच में हुआ है। देखते हैं कल आता है कि नहीं आता है। आई थिंक टोटली अननेसेसरी। और आपने सेमीफाइनल जितना इंपॉर्टेंट गेम आ रहा है आपका लेबनान के सामने, अब आप खेलोगे, वो कोई अब बात नहीं करेगा कल की आपने क्या 2 चीजें लूज की है इससे। एक तो आपने पॉइंट लूज किए फीफा रैंकिंग में, जो लोगों को बहुत देखना अच्छा लगता है ना फीफा रैंकिंग। अब आपने ड्रॉ किया है कुवैत के सामने, आपसे 40 रैंक पीछे वाली टीम है, अब आप पॉइंट लूज करोगे वहां पे। एक दूसरी चीज, आप लेबनान के सामने फालतू में भिड़ोगे आप सेकंड फिनिश करके। तो कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस लोगों को देखना नहीं है, सिर्फ लोगों को देखना है कि हाँ भाई बंदा टीम के लिए खड़ा हुआ। आप उसके कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस तो देखो भाई कि आपकी टीम ने 2 इंपोर्टेंट जगह पे आप मूव कर रहे थे। सुनील सर के फेस ने क्लियरली बता दिया था भाई, वो बेंच पे थे, क्लियरली शो कर दिया था कि भाई ये क्या चल रहा है। रियली डिसअपॉइंटेड, सब कोई भी बंदा डिसअपॉइंट होगा इस चीज से। और आपने जब ये येलो कार्ड ले लिया है तो फालतू में क्यों, मतलब दूसरी बार तो उसने पूरा, मतलब आप साइडलाइन रेफरी को क्या बोल रहे हो यार। This is a really मतलब pathetic I think, and I think इसकी एक्शन भी कुछ नहीं होगा। आई थिंक मेरे हिसाब से बंदा कोई बोलने वाला ही नहीं है, लोग कल वाह वाह करेंगे, चलता रहेगा।
Nilanjan, what do you make of the entire situation?
Well, हिंदी में जो कहावत है ना, आ बैल मुझे मार, वही था, nothing else. We lost the momentum, we lost the focus, we were totally in control kind of dying minutes. Good tactical display from India. Kuwait, as Arunava mentioned, were unable to score. We were able to cut off the supply lines. We were brave, we were aggressive, playing well, on verge of topping the group, and then all of a sudden this gentleman comes up, already picked up in yellow, then picks up in red out of nowhere. No one knows, nothing's happened. He's kind of continuously murmuring. And what? This is on the back of a red card suspension, which had prevented him in being on the dugout in the last match against Nepal. Not a new thing to him. Since he took over India, I only hope someone takes out stats and puts it up, because he missed the last final against Maldives in the SAFF Championship. Apart from that, he had been has been red carded, if in my memory it's letting me down nowadays, minimum 3 to 4 times. So this is quite a habit. We do not need to, as a he's played at the highest level. You do not need to be coming into this region. People feel that okay, maybe the superiority complex, that I am better, I have seen different footballing environments. I try to put pressurize on the referee, but when that's absolutely fine. Maybe when you cross the line, that's bound to come. Totally unnecessary. It got to the boys. Rahim Ali got to the boys. Rahim Ali picked up a red card. The boys lose focus. There's something that happens, and then eventually we lose all the advantage which we have, and we are back to square one, not being able to top the group and come here. And very honestly, I say, I feel a danger of him even being banned if India at all reaches the final, because this is a repeated offense. If there are FIFA rules, there can be stringent decisions taken. Maybe semi-final, definitely. It's a second red in your consecutive match. Repeated offense. There's a SAFF Championship which you were there already last time. And there can be. There's a psychologist in the team. He needs to work more. I don't need to say anything.
But
Nilanjan. It's disgusting. You let everyone down after doing all the right things in the country. Igor planned it perfectly, and he said, "Ah, bel mujhe maar."
First half has been brilliant. First half has been brilliant football. सब मतलब सब पानी में वो क्या बोलते हैं वो कर दिया.
But I have a question for Nilanjan. Are you happy that you are today not the media officer of the AFF after this?
That's a different situation altogether. The media officer, it's the hardest job of the media officer is to control such things.
Exactly,
you know what?
That's what I'm saying.
That anyway, leave it aside. Being a player or being the physio, the team doctor, the psychologist is easier, because you don't need to control them. They obviously listen to you. But if I am the badmash, हमें किसी का बात सुनना नहीं है, जो मर्जी है मैं करूंगा, and you expect the support from everyone. It's a big letdown. It's a big letdown. I only hope that the team doesn't lose focus. We go on to win the semi-final and the final, because this, I believe, is our championship purely by the manner in which we played against Kuwait today. Unfortunately, the headlines have shifted, and Igor's getting all the attention for not for the right reason. He should have been getting it for the right reason, for the wrong reason now.
Exactly. I think that's the problem that we stand in now, is that this topic will be sort of the focus topic going forward, right? That this will be, what did the coach do? Why did he do it? Because he's not going to go to the post-match press conference. So the question is, how will the AIFF handle the whole thing? You know, how will the AIFF media department handle this? Or how will Igor, as Hiren has said, you know, will he tomorrow make a statement himself via social media? And I think that is something that, and again, it's something that someone higher up in the AFF needs to have a word with him. Someone who's either in charge of the national team department, or even, I would say, even the secretary, president, vice president, whoever is there as the senior most official. Someone needs to sit down with him in the evening and say, Igor, control yourself. Because again, we're all passionate. We all have said wrong things towards match officials, but we're not in a dugout. Right? If I'm standing somewhere, it's fine. But if I'm sitting in the dugout, I'm the person in control. I'm a person in charge. My actions reflect on the field. And this draw, Sunil said post-match interview, this draw feels like a loss. And you should have seen Sunil's face. He was angry. So I know, at least Sunil Chhetri will speak to the coach. 100%. Sunil will speak to the coach. I said, coach, this cannot happen, right? But the point is, it is not just the coach. It was the behavior of the Indian boys in the last 15, 20 minutes. It was a little bit of a hooligan sort of type of behavior, you know. I think we were very lucky that there were only 1 red cards each for both teams. It could have been 2-3.
2-3.
On both sides. So, and it was good to see after the match, the Bento the coach of Kuwait, went around and said, you know, is everything good or fine? Okay. Because he knows that if these two teams meet in the final again, there's fireworks already there because of this game and because what has happened. And it would be interesting to see, as Nilanjan said, is me match. Hi, Hiren, bro.
Already there are some people who are loving the aggression made in the shadow of Igor Shemik.
Yeah, but then again, are these people the right kind of set of fans? I would then ask the question, right? If they like this kind of behavior,
big influencer.
It's terrible behavior. This is not the kind. Again, I like, for example, what Jurgen Klopp says. You know, Jurgen Klopp says, I am sometimes shocked when I see footage of myself during games. That is mature behavior by a coach. Again, 90 minutes, passion, all fine. But afterwards, you have to say, bhai, mera galti. He's not even realized that against Pakistan, his action was wrong. That is the main thing. And if you put out such a statement, where is the top brass of the AFF? To speak to this gentleman, explain to him, this, as the head coach of the Indian national football team, or for any national team of India under the aegis of the AFF, is unacceptable. Period. That is what disturbs me. That no one has come forward and said, guys, this is not acceptable.
No, I trust Kalyan Chaudhuri, the president, did mention, I did read in a report that he said Igor's behavior was unacceptable in the Pakistan match. And you know what means when we are talking at length, the danger in the Pakistan match, it was a kind of a very delicate match. It's India versus Pakistan. You need to be controlling your emotions in such a match. That makes you great. Your greatness does not come by showing aggression of the field, totally unnecessary. You play aggressively, that's absolutely fine. But we also need to be responsible. That responsibility stays with the players and obviously the dugout and the coach. Coaches preach discipline at each and every step. You cannot be that, okay, I do whatever I want, but you need to be disciplined. A player would be reprimanded by the coach if he doesn't stick to the discipline which the coach has asked him to or asks him, expects from him. What now? It's high time. I believe there needs to be a very serious talk from the AIFF management with the coach, because today's match did prove that we are playing well. Very honestly, I need to say that despite all of that, I had expected Kuwait to be having it easier. We were able to keep the channels very, very tight, cut off the supply lines. We were aggressive. We were willing to go out in the attack in numbers. We outnumbered them. We defended in numbers. There were more people in the box when we attacked. Okay, it may not be as beautiful as you want to be, but I would say it was effective football, and we were leading. We were leading by a brilliant volley from Sunil amidst that jungle of legs, and all the hard work was. It's not an action by the player, but action by a coach. There needs to be some serious talk, because such acts will only hit Indian football, not the team, hit Indian football overall. And this is a kind of a repeated offender each and every time. Since the time he took over, maybe he cannot control his emotions. He's planned the team well, but it cannot be that regular ek ke baad aap kaat le lo kuch bhi bol ke. It cannot. You pick up fights, okay. You try to get into the minds of the referees. That's mind games. But the moment you cross the line, this is bound to happen. It's disgusting.
Exactly. And if you think we are talking about this for the first 15 minutes, rather than talking about the game, where, as I agree with Nilanjan, for example, I was surprised with the lineup. I would have thought that India would play a B team, sort of, and rest their regulars. But it looks to me at the moment, I don't know what you guys think, that this seems to be like the first, if you take out the injuries and other players, this seems like the first sort of 11 that Igor Stimac could prefer in the coming weeks and months. I mean, would you go with that, guys?
To me, this was the best 11 which we had. At our disposal. Amidst all the players, you need to leave some people out and some people in. The advantages and pros and cons of each end player, when you balance it out, I believe Igor got it absolutely right in this match, the first 11. He was brave enough and he wanted to win this match just to avoid Lebanon in the semi-final. He did all the right things. Ashik was there, who was physical, trying to get into the minds of the bodies of the opponents, that kind of a player. He may not be good to look at, but what he does, the defenders do not like forwards or rival players who continuously are jostling with them, coming with them. So that's what Ashik does. And a guy like Sahal can come in later after Ashik has tired the defenders, maybe play in between. That the plan I felt was perfect enough. Whatever it had, Udanta's speed later on could have caused them trouble. Rahim Ali is a physical player. Pick up Sunil out as per the situation, but all said and done, you again go back ki khana bahut badhiya bana, namak zyada de diye bhai sahab. Biryani mein namak zyada tha.
Arunava, I just wanted to add quickly. I think this was the best 11 that we had. I would go for Ashik over Sahal. I think although he drifts towards that right-hand side a little more and doesn't play in the pocket as such as a number 10, it's still very effective. You can see Jigan playing the ball straight to Ashik. He picks up the ball, tries to play either side and keeps it moving. I think it's a lot nicer to watch Ashik play, because Sahal sometimes overcomplicates things, takes a little too long on the ball before releasing the strikers or the wingers.
And of course, it allows Sunil to drop in as a number 10. I think that gives, I think, and I think that is something which I find very, very interesting, that Ashik gives that sort of angle to allow Sunil to drop back, that he does, so to say, the dirty work. He's doing a lot of dirty work for Sunil, and the way Ashik at the moment is playing, it reminds me, under Steven, we had Holichar Nazari, who did a lot of that dirty work on that left flank for the Indian team. So I think that is, I think, and I was talking the other day about it on our Twitter space, that I feel that might be the best sort of option. Maybe Mr. Stimach was listening, I don't know, because he is quite often on social media. So I felt that was good. The player who's impressed me the most, forget Sunil. I mean, that is no question about what this man is doing, is just incredible, is Mahesh Naurav. I have to say, I don't know what you guys think, but this boy is playing without fear. I remember Renedy told me about him, was it 2 years ago, when Renedy was with East Bengal? He said, there's a good player coming up. And I felt the dribblings, the trickery, a little doubtful in that season 2 years ago. This season, of course, he showed in the ISL what the guy is capable of, and he's been able to keep that form. And actually, I feel he's improved in the national team even more. He's become more effective, and that is, I think, what I felt was very, very impressive in the way that the boy has sort of played. Hiren?
I completely
agree. I
This
think
is long.
Naresh Mahesh is one of the player which is I think is मतलब कोई भी हमने देखा है जनरली जो इंडियन टीम में प्लेयर आते हैं तो थोड़ा सा टाइम लगता है, लेकिन this man has clicked at the from the moment he that's the great thing to India have a player like, मतलब आप देखिए आज आई थिंक फर्स्ट हाफ में जिस तरह से चांगते हैं नरेश महेश दोनों साइड से जिस तरह से खेल रहे थे, आई थिंक इसीलिए आप देखिए फर्स्ट हाफ में वी लुक more impressive and brilliant मतलब I think we finally I don't मेरे मन में तो कोई डाउट नहीं है कि we find our front three. I think and आसिफ कुरुनियान का भी मैच बोलना चाहूंगा, फर्स्ट हाफ में he looks more you can say लिंक अप प्ले में आप देखिए सहल अब्दुल समझ जब सुनील सर के साथ खेलता है उससे मेरे को बेटर लगा आसिफ कुरुनियान जिस तरह से वो कॉम्प्लीमेंट कर रहा था सुनील सर के साथ, और जिस तरह से आई थिंक एक दो बार नरेश महेश के साथ भी उन्होंने रोल चेंज किया था, कभी वो लेफ्ट विंग पे आ जाता था तब नरेश महेश नंबर 10 के रोल पे चले जाता था. तो आई थिंक दिस फ्रंट फोर आई थिंक लुक्स इंप्रेसिव. आई थिंक आगे आने वाले टाइम में अगर ये साथ में और ज्यादा खेलते हैं, मैचेस मिलते हैं इनको फ्रंट फोर को, तो आई थिंक दिस कैन बी I think front four in the AFC Cup.
And also Mahesh's crossing has been on point. He puts in very, very, very good balls. There were a couple of occasions even in this game, the ball went straight across the 6-yard box and there wasn't a striker because probably Sunil has peeled off. But he puts in good balls. He always does the right thing. When you need him to play that overlapping fullback, he does it. When you need him to put in a cross, he does it. And when you need him to take on people, he does it. So I think he's been brilliant whenever I've seen him play for India. Guys, Rajesh asks, Jeekson should be groomed for captaincy after Sunil and Sandesh. What your thoughts? Nilanjan, do you see this as a possibility, Jeekson?
Well, let's not jinx anyone right at the present moment. I don't see anyone taking over the captaincy mantle till Sunil's there, Sandesh there. After Sunil, Gurpreet's there. Maybe a future captain, definitely. Anyone can be, even Thapa's there. Everyone has leadership skill. But to me, if you ask me, cricket and football are different. So speaking about a captain right now, anyone needs to be cementing their place regularly. To be a captain, the first and foremost condition is Sandesh. Look at Sandesh Jingan. You cannot replace him. He has limitations, but he's playing each and every day. One of the first preferences to get into the team. You play 15 matches, 2 seasons for the national team at a stretch, and then let's speak about captaincy. Okay, maybe he can. It cannot be up Monday khelo, up Thursday nahi khelo, next Tuesday na khelo, fir Sunday khelo. You need to be forcing the coach to make you make yourself indispensable. You force the coach to be playing you. That's what the coach is wanting and looking for. If you are satisfied, मैं बाहर ठीक है, जब coach खिलाएगा मैं ready हूँ, that at no coach, I will play. This is my place. I have grabbed it. No one can take it away from me. Let that happen to anyone, and then we speak about captaincy. That's my thought process.
Then, but guys, again, what do you make of Jackson? Has he said? Do you think he's done enough to say that I need to be the guy? I need to be your go-to number 6 in this team?
I would say no. I would say no. I think that at number 6 we've got options. I still believe when fit, Apuya is our best number 6 at the moment. I think Apuya is a little better cut above Jeekson. And I think it depends on what is my combination. Am I going with 2 defensive-minded number 6 players? Sort of, am I going in with, let's say, Apuya and Jeekson? Thapa gives me a different sort of angle. I still have potentially Brandon Fernandez in the backhand of mine. I've got Rahul Borges potentially as an experienced defensive screamer, so to say, in the back of my hand. So I do have options, and Jackson has been a regular, starting from the under 17s or even with the under 15s, under 16s in those days. And is someone, again, we have someone like a Suresh Wangjam to also put in there as well in the mix. So we have players, we have players, and again, I think it's finding the right players for the right positions, and also the players who are in form. I think I am with certain things very critical with Mr. Steamach, but I have to say, Nikhil Pujari, very well done to give this boy a chance. That guy was playing well in the ISL. You gave him a chance. He's grabbed that chance, because normally, we're talking about Rahul, an experienced player like Rahul Beke, or even an Ashish Rai, who's done very well for himself over the last 2 years. I've got other players, again, Mahesh Naurem, where he said already in March, there is something about this boy which I find very, very special. And you've got other players again in that position as well. And again, there are certain things which are looking very, very good, but I always have this weird feeling that I'm not confident about what's going to happen, and especially after the behavior of the coach. I don't want to come back to that topic, but that is sort of what worries me in this whole thing, because you threw away today a win, an easier passage into the semi-finals. If things go by normal, you'll play Lebanon a third time. I felt Lebanon now have sort of settled into Indian conditions as well. So, and, therefore I think, it's going to be very interesting to see, where does this whole thing go with the players, because again, we have 3-4 standout players, but otherwise we've got 30-35 players, and you can interswitch most of them depending on what's their current form, what's the formation. You can, I think that Sunil is the one, Sandesh is the other. To my feeling, also Changte has sort of cemented his place in the first 11, and now even Gurpreet is not a clear-cut number one. It seems like Amrinder is the better ball player at the moment, and it is sad that Purva Lachempa is injured. Otherwise, maybe Purva might have been also a challenger to these two, because I think as a ball player, he's even a better goalkeeper. So therefore, I'm interested to see certain players in the next 6 months. We have options. It is now the job of the coach to find the best 11. And for the first time in a long, long while, I have a feeling that Igor Stimac has sort of 7-8 players at the moment who are sort of the first 11. But it gives chances to others. If you see Anwar's mistake today, it does not mean that Sana is out, that a Mehtab Singh is without a chance. We've had moments today where I felt Anirudh Thapa was having problems in the middle of the park against the Kuwaitis. There were, patches where I felt, okay, he's not keeping it together. And again, Kuwait is a weaker side than the best Arab teams, right? So but again, they are all technically good. So if we're playing UAE, if you're playing even Saudis, the little chances that they had, they would have taken. I don't know, that one situation where everyone started arguing in the first half and Kuwait didn't even get a corner, even though the ball went off Amrinder. I still don't know what happened in that situation. I don't know if it was an offside or something. So therefore, and again, it's something. I would like this team to concede one in these matches, an early goal, and come back, because that's the mentality we have not shown. We've kept 8 clean sheets back to back. But I feel that today, after the 1-1, the team was somewhat all over the place. Because coach has got a red card, one of your players is off. You're very it wasn't there. It was something was missing, and I hope that this mentality that this team has built up over the last few matches, that we don't lose that mentality, because that is now going to be an interesting one. If you're going to face Lebanon, you are not going to be in the same mood as you have been over the last sort of couple of weeks. That's the huge challenge I feel that India has.
Just to pick up on something that you mentioned.
Rahul, please take the...
Yeah.
I want to pick that question, Abhijit Devanand. Why Kuwait first goal was disallowed? Because in Kuwaitis media, there is a reason वो लोग दे रहे हैं कि वो जो build up में को handball था शायद. व्हाट्स अरुणवा सर एंड निलंजना सर, आपको क्या लगा? क्योंकि काफी ज्यादा उसमें कंफ्यूजन बन चुका था कि ऑफसाइड था, क्या था उस गोल को क्यों डिसअलाउड किया
It wasn't clear on television. It wasn't clear on television. There were not enough replays. So honestly, and the telecast was from quite far. The close-up angles were not sufficient enough to prove as to what happened. I was also kind of still baffled as to what happened. By the way, did Sandesh pick up a yellow card today? He did, na?
Yes.
Yeah,
So which means he misses the semi-final.
yeah.
2 yellow हो गए उसके.
He picked up one in the Pakistan match during that brawl when that Stimash handoff Igor happened. He had picked up a yellow card there. So 2 yellows in the group stage obviously
card,
misses
yes,
the semi-final. So against Lebanon, we don't have Igor on the sideline. We don't have Sandesh at the back. I'm guessing it's Lebanon. It can be even some other team.
Yeah.
That's a big blow, which I guess no one has kind of picked it up as yet. Amidst all that happened, Sandesh is out for the semi-final.
Yeah, just coming back to that question, Harry, I'm going to put you on the spot. This is something that I was thinking about before the game also. Who is India's number one goalkeeper at the moment?
आई थिंक ट्विटर स्पेस आज जब कर रहे थे हम, जब मैच स्टार्ट हुआ उससे पहले, तभी मैंने बताया था कि अमरिंदर पाजी को स्टार्ट करना. आप देखिए जितने भी इंपॉर्टेंट मैच है उसमें उनको स्टार्ट कराया गया है, चाहे वो लेबनान के सामने हो, चाहे वो कुवैत के सामने हो, उनको स्टार्ट कराया गया है. तो आई थिंक जो क्लियर इंडिकेशन अभी लग रहा है मेरे हिसाब से. एंड नेपाल वाले गेम में थोड़ा सा आई थिंक गुरप्रीत पाजी का जो आप बोल सकते हैं कि बॉल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन या फिर कुछ ऐसे सिचुएशन आए थे कि उन्होंने वो मतलब उसमें कंफर्टेबल नहीं दिखे थे. तो आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाई आई थिंक अमरिंदर पाजी को आई थिंक फर्स्ट चॉइस यहाँ पे मेरे को तो अभी बनते हुए दिख रहे हो कि इंडिया की ओर से. एंड आज एक आध शॉट भी उन्होंने बढ़िया रोका. आई थिंक सेकंड हाफ में कुवैत की ओर से एक बढ़िया शॉट आया था, उसको भी शॉट अच्छा स्टॉप किया. तो आई थिंक ही इज बिकमिंग द फर्स्ट चॉइस मेरे हिसाब से. एंड गुरप्रीत पाजी को आई थिंक ही नीड्स टू नाउ आई थिंक वर्क मोर ऑन द यू कैन से बॉल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. लेट्स सी. जैसे अरुणा सर ने बोला कि फुटबॉल एचएमना भी है. अगर आप प्योरली ऑन दी, अगर कोच का ये फिक्स है कि मेरे को चाहिए कि भाई बॉल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन वाला कीपर चाहिए, तो ही डेफिनेटली फिर उसको फिर अमरिंदर पाजी फुटबॉल एचएमना के पास जाएंगे. उसको चाहिए कि भाई मेरे को शॉट स्टॉपर जो अच्छा हो, तो डेफिनेटली गुरप्रीत पाजी है. तो आई थिंक इट इज नाउ मतलब जो इंपॉर्टेंट मैचेस में अमरिंदर पाजी का स्टार्ट करना मतलब क्लियर इंडिकेशन है कि कोच की थॉट प्रोसेस में वो आगे चल रहे हैं अभी.
Are we in agreement then? Nilanjan, Arunava, is Amrinder the number one choice because he does look like he's more comfortable with the ball at his feet? Nilanjan?
Well, it's very hard to be saying anything about that. I don't pick up much amidst that between the two. Where, if you ask me, Gurpreet's form has dipped quite a bit. His confidence is lacking a bit much in confidence. You know what? When Gurpreet first burst onto the scene, Arunava will remember. People used to just joke about him, and even Gurpreet, sir, he himself says, "Sir, मैं तो मच्छर मार रहा था बॉल पकड़ने के लिए." So from there, this guy came up with some saving some blinders, and committing some errors which even a schoolboy won't be ever committing. He went to Norway and he came back. And when he came back to the national team in 2015, I remember, you just couldn't score against him in practice. You just couldn't score against him in practice. So much so that in the match against Iran at Kantirava, in the World Cup qualifiers, Stephen backed him over an informed Spiderman Subroto Paul, and Gurpreet never looked back from there. And if you ask me, from the 2015 to the 2019 era, Sunil was absolutely exceptional. The defense line, Halicharan, Udanta, Eugene, till the time we played JJ, it was a team effort, but the guy who stood out for me will always be Gurpreet Sandhu. He kept us in the match. He always kept up in the match, and I'll never forget ever a match against Iran at the Azadi Stadium away. I guess it wasn't telecast, unfortunately. 7th or 8th minute, he had 4 back-to-back saves. Mara save kiya, utha Mara save kiya, and then tips it over. And if you speak to him ever, he'll say that match was my best match. He comes to India, and what I see is He's not getting the same quality practice in his club, despite JSW Bengaluru FC being one of the most professional clubs in the country. And obviously, when you don't get the practice which you used to get in Norway, your form will dip. That's the unfortunate part which has happened to him. Nothing else. Picking between Amrinder and Gurpreet, if you ask me, I don't see much of a difference. People will say it's a better ball distributor. To me, it doesn't. Gurpreet's not that bad at all, and Amrinder's not that great. Short stopping wise, both are same. Amrinder's in terrific form at the moment. Gurpreet's a bit shaky. Looks a bit shaky. I won't say is shaky. I don't know. Whoever if you ask me, you play anyone, not at all. Doesn't concern me at all. It's not much of a difference. But I still feel like in the Asian Cup, or the World Cup qualifiers, Gurpreet will get the nod ahead of Amrinder in the bigger matches. But today was a big match. Not much difference for me. I only hope even Amrinder and Gurpreet and all the other goalkeepers get better quality practice. What do you say in their respective clubs?
I agree with Nilanjan. But I agree with Nilanjan. I mean, the point here is, again, I think we are talking about what is the current form. And again, I think that's an important thing. And what has a player done over the years in the national team? I think these are very, very key elements, criterias on choosing who plays or who doesn't play. So I feel from that perspective, at the moment, Amrinder looks more sort of secure in the way he's playing. That might change in 3 days or 4 days, because again, Gurpreet has that international level big match experience. I think for him in 2011, which was bad luck for Arindam Bhattacharya, that he did get to be part of that team, to be a part of that legendary team. I think that helped him a lot. As Nilanjan has said, I think he's a good example. Like Baichung, he went as a boy to Europe, came back as a man. I remember Trevor James Morgan, East Bengal, United Sports, blunder. Otherwise, East Bengal would have won the I-League in Kolani. And after he came back, what a level of football that Gurpreet has been playing. But somehow he's had this over the last 2 years. I feel like a lot of BFC players, that sort of natural way of being confident seems to me a little gone. I don't know why. Sunil has that, but some of the BFC players have not had it for I don't know for what reason, and that sort of seems to have carried on. While Amrinder, despite his tricky time at ATK Mohun Bagan and again good season at Odisha, has consistently sort of kept his level. Where Arindam was actually the better goalkeeper, but Arindam, after that sort of getting that challenge in his club, has sort of not been able to regain his position. So that's something that you have to see. And again, that's why Purba Lechempa is, to me, the dark horse in this race. If you're going to go for someone, again, he's going to get experience in the AFC Champions League again, most likely. And he's been working with Rogerio Ramos at the club, who, of course, has also been with the national team, an experienced guy, used to play for Vasco in the past in the NFL. So therefore, those are factors. And it will be interesting to see. Vishal Keth has had an exceptional season, even though Vishal is another one of those where you say he normally has his mistakes in his game. So therefore, so that's going to be interesting to see. So therefore, goalkeepers, I think, is a position where these two are certainly ahead of the others. At the moment, I think Amrinder has a little bit of an advantage. But again, going into autumn, going into next January, it's an interesting race to follow. And as Nilanjan rightly said, Gurpreet has that tournament experience as well as a number one. And I think that is a factor which could potentially help him down the road. And also for Gurpreet, this time of spending on the bench, the desire is there to be ensured that I am number one again. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the coach is tickling him a little bit to get a little bit better, or to get out better performances out of him.
And I know you've seen that. I think Gurpreet's also made an effort to try to play out of the back. He's he tries to build out from the back, which is not probably there for him during his BFC days. Because I mean, when he's playing for BFC, because Simon Grayson preferred to go long. It's something that I think he's also trying to bring into his game, which is nice to see.
But it's difficult if you don't play it at the club. So I think
Yeah.
that's his problem. He's playing different styles at club and at country. So again, Amrinder, amongst the coaches that he's played, be it Lobera, be it Gombao, these guys, even Ferrando, these guys are kind of coaches that want you to build up play. They don't want to just bang it forward. And again, we potentially you could do it with an Ashik up front. Potentially you could do it where you play the ball to Ashik and Ashik sort of lays it off maybe to Sunil. What JJ perfectly used to do for Sunil when those two were in their prime. That might be something. But I think Stimac takes a different approach to football. We've discussed a lot about what he says about possession football and all. And so that's the challenge that you have in this whole thing is what's the right way. And again, one thing is good. It's the winning habit that he's instilled over the last few matches. But on the other side, it is a question of what has happened on the field today, where I feel I'm interested to see how they played the semi-final. I mean, the funny one is I arrive on the first in Bangalore, and I was just realizing, I said, okay, afternoon match, I have to go to my cousin's place and this and that and everything. Now it's an evening match for India. I think I'll have to head to the Kantirava on the first. So puts a little pressure on me and my travel plans in Bangalore on Saturday.
Well, it is going to be interesting. Let's look forward to the semi-final then. Harry, what are you making of the semi-final? How do you look at it? India played a 0-0 draw to Lebanon and they've beaten them 2-0. We haven't lost to them. We haven't conceded a goal yet. How do you see this game going?
डेफिनेटली थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंस तो हमारे में होगा क्योंकि ऑलरेडी हमने उनको फाइनल में बीट कर रखा है एंड लेबनान की आई थिंक जो ये स्कोर आई है उसमें आप देखिए दे आर आल्सो गोन विद द लॉट ऑफ यंगस्टर, तो उनकी भी फुल फ्लेज जो हम स्कोर एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे वो मतलब इंटरकॉन्टिनेंटल कप में भी नहीं थी, काफी उन्होंने यंगस्टर को चांस दिया था, उन्होंने भी काफी चेंजेस किए थे, लेकिन डेफिनेटली दे विल आल्सो लुक फॉर दिस चैलेंज एंड वो भी अब जैसे अरुणा सर ने बोला कि आई थिंक सेटल हो चुके हैं इंडिया में काफी दिनों से, आई थिंक मोर देन 15-20 डेज हो चुके हैं, तो उन्होंने भी एक वो सेटल हो चुके हैं यहाँ के एटमॉस्फेयर उन सब से, तो आई थिंक टफ फाइट होगी सेमीफाइनल एंड देखिए नॉकआउट मैचेस इज ऑलवेज गोइंग टू बी इंटरेस्टिंग एंड लेबनान हमारे साथ टॉप टू टॉप में ही है अगर आप देखिए रैंकिंग वाइज या फिर जो भी आप पैरामीटर देखते हो उस सब में आई थिंक टो टू टो ही है, तो इंटरेस्टिंग फाइट होगी और ऊपर से हमारे कोच साहब साइड लाइन में नहीं होंगे, फिर अभी नीलंजन सर ने जो एक इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट बताया कि भाई संदेशबाजी भी नहीं है, आई थिंक डिफेंस में वो चाहिए लीडर आपको क्लियरली, आप देखिए आज फील्ड के ऊपर अगर सुनील सर होते तो वो जो रहीम अली वाला इंसिडेंट होता वो शायद अब बेटर तरीके से आप शायद हैंडल कर पाते, लेकिन वो कहीं ना कहीं आपको एक लीडर की सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको उसी चीज में जरूरत है, तो डेफिनेटली दैट विल बी आल्सो अ फैक्टर की जो इंडिया को कंसीडर करना पड़ेगा, तो इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी इजी मैच, हमें ये बिल्कुल मतलब ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस में नहीं लेना चाहिए कि हमने इनको फाइनल में हरा रखा है, तो आपने 0-0 से ड्रॉ भी कर रखा है उनसे उससे पहले वाले मैच में, तो इंटरेस्टिंग मैच होगा लेबनान के सामने एंड लेट्स सी कि कैसे इंडिया यहाँ पे जो एक क्या आपने जैसे बोला कि भाई एक गोल हमने फाइनली कंसीड कर दिया है, how will be, I think most probably Mehtab will get in place of Sandesh Chingan, Mehtab and Anwar Ali might will start एज ए सेंटर बैक पेयर, तो वो देखना इंटरेस्टिंग सा होगा कि किस तरह से एक बड़े नॉकआउट मैचेस में परफॉर्मेंस रहता है इंडिया का पर्टिकुलर डिफेंसिव वाइज, और लेबनान वाला अगर आप देखिए कि 0-0 वाला गेम भी था तो वहां पे लेबनान ने मतलब ऐसा नहीं था कि पूरे वो आउट क्लास हो गए थे, और जो दूसरा मैच था 2-0 वाला उसमें भी आप देखिए सेकंड हाफ में हमने जो मतलब क्रिएट किया था तो उसके पास भी क्वालिटीज है, बिल्कुल ऐसा नहीं है कि हम थ्रेस कर सकते हैं, तो आई थिंक इट विल बी इवन मैच, आई थिंक मजा आएगा, वो भी मैच इंटरेस्टिंग सा होगा, तो लेट्स सी हाउ इज इंडिया गोइंग टू टेक दैट मैच इन टर्म्स ऑफ द टैक्टिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू.
Nilanjan, who slots in at centre back for you in place of Sandesh?
I think so. They'll be playing Mehtab most likely, but Rahul, because experience is also there, but Rahul's not been playing. I think so. They'll go with Mehtab and Anwar Ali, but that becomes a bit too much of a less of an experience. a very tricky question, and it depends on who's in a better frame of mind and in a better shape to be playing on that day. The coach needs to take a call. I think the mental barrier we have been able to break, because if you look at the two teams and the performances against Lebanon and Kuwait, these are two teams whom we have not beaten much. Lebanon we have beaten. We last beat Lebanon 70s में कब, and Lebanon are a good team. So mindset में Lebanon, अरे बाप रे, Lebanon आया है. Kuwait, the only time was when Stephen's last match in 2004 have always got the better of us. So now we are in a situation that the mental barrier we have been able to break. Okay, Kuwait, beatable. Lebanon, beatable, and we have beaten them. And had not that focus gone out today in the last 10-15 minutes, whatever minutes it may be, we would have won the match. So the mental barrier is gone. This SAFF Championship is for us to lose now. It's not for us to win. And if we go on to win this SAFF, this will be the biggest ever SAFF Championship which in Indian history which we have won. Because till now, 2015 ranks highest for me, when a very solid Afghanistan team we were able to beat with a very depleted squad. But if you compare the quality of Kuwait and Lebanon to that quality of Afghanistan, obviously this SAFF ranks higher. One thing I need to point out, which is Rahim Ali's behavior on the field. You are a professional player. Off the field, how can you go and push someone like that? You are earning money. You are not a 17-year-old. You have told the entire world on verge of on the because you are in the team of the Under-17 World Cup. You are a professional player. You people look up to you. Means you are so-called the successor of Sunil Chhetri because you are in the team today. You are replacing him. All of a sudden, you want to go your strength and play to the gallery. Ek push mara hai bhai, kya kiya? I can tell you an incident. I don't want to name a player. Stephen Constantine, the guy had picked up an yellow. We were having a kind of a drinks break, and I was in the dugout. Stephen was explaining to him, son, don't get into the tackle, just hold, don't get into the final tackle. And because he was not proficient in English, Stephen, Venki was explaining to someone else. Stephen called me up, Nilu, explain it to him. And whatever the translation, beta, mat kariyo, coach bol rahe, hold karo, final tackle pe mat jao, 15-16 minute mein aap pehle yellow le liye ho. You can pick up a second yellow anytime. The first thing which he did after the game restarted was one tackle, the rival midfielder in the air, tossed up, second yellow, out. The guy was never called for, what do you say, for the national camp. He cried, he pleaded, he spoke to everyone. He said, no, never. I won't, and he never called, and he was a starting 11 player. This happened in front of our eyes. Everyone tried to kind of, Stephen, jaake samjha, coach. No, he never. He was very clear in his approach. How can you give away that advantage when the other guy is there? You go, you sledge him. Aap kuch bhi karo, gali do, that's part of life. You go and bang him, push off the ball. Come on, man. You are not a kid. You are not a 16-year-old. Means, where does this behavior come from? I fail to understand. You're a national team player. You're representing 1.4 billion people, 1.4 billion people. And each and every day you have won a SAFF championship. You have captained India in the AFC Under-22 qualifiers. You are playing for a club. Unfortunately, couldn't play for some days. But you know what modern football is all about. Is he not aware that, what do you say, that pushing of the ball so vigorously can invite a card, if not a red, at least a yellow? Why? So that's the thing which the players also need to understand and learn. That's the IQ level of a player. You cannot just be telling everyone, say, oh, learn from Sunil. Arey bhai, kabhi to seekho, kabhi to seekh lo. Maybe I'm sounding a bit harsh, but that was totally unwanted. We are a player, also a player less for the semi-final, and what? It's in the place of the striker. So who replaces Sunil now? We don't have any genuine striker replacing Sunil if he's to be replaced.
फुटबॉल जेनेटिक्स भाई का राहुल भाई फुटबॉल जेनेटिक्स भाई का कमेंट लो बढ़िया उन्होंने मेंशन किया आई थिंक ही परफेक्टली समड अप if
if it was their tactic.
I wouldn't say they played dirty. I think they played it smartly because they got into the heads of the Indian team. I think that is the way we lost the game psychologically.
True.
And that is what concerns me, is because Lebanon will take lessons from this. If we're playing Lebanon will learn from this, and Lebanon will have seen they've played 2 matches against India. And the point is now is, again, Sandesh out. And again, the question regard to what the coach did, what happened. It's I mean, this evening will be very interesting in the Indian camp. You know, is the AFF top brass really going to go in there and have a word with the coach in a way? So therefore, there are a lot of these, behind the scenes things that most people will never be able to know. Nilanjan knows a lot of things. I know a lot of things that happened when you were traveling with the team, which the general public will never know, and which I think should stay in a dressing room or should stay in the team hotel. But today is a day where, key people need to intervene and come forward and say, guys, certain things we have to do differently. And that's that is the challenge now. That is the real challenge of what all is happening or what all is not happening is the Indian team now has a psychologist, and that guy gets a very, very important role over the next couple of days, in my opinion. I think that is his role in the next 3 days. It's on Saturday. So in the next 3 days, he has one-on-one conversations with players. Maybe even, Nilanjan hinted it. Maybe have a one-on-one conversation with the coach. I mean, the coach could
He
go.
has to. What we read in the reports that came out in the sense which was reported on the official website, that you'd be having sessions with the coach. There were pictures which were tweeted that he's having sessions with the coach. Obviously, those sessions do not happen on the field. Those sessions happen in the team hotel. But okay, it was a good picture to tweet, lovely. But we just gave it away.
And that's the point. I think that's the thing that in a match like this, which I felt we were even, we were leading due to the brilliance of Sunil. In the end, we couldn't keep it together. And that is the thing that I say is, like, if we smartly kept it together, we could have topped Group A, avoided most likely Lebanon, and played either Maldives or Bangladesh. Now it's going to be interesting because, again, the question is there any chance of Lebanon losing? I mean, I was just looking at the table and thinking that, if Lebanon somehow or the other lose to Maldives, what happens? That might be the big surprise. So that might help India. I don't know. But again, normally, if things go normal, we would face Lebanon a third time in a few days' time. And and again, we could play them again in the King's Cup in a few weeks. So Lebanon is like your practice match friend, so to say, who you regularly team up with again. So therefore, it's an interesting scenario, I think. And again, I agree with what Sunil said in the post-match press conference, where Sunil looked a dejected Sunil Chetri went there and said, "Listen, it feels like a loss." So yeah.
And unfortunately, now we all depend on the referee's report. If the referee's report comes out to be harsh to the match commissioner, there can be a 2-match suspension, because this offence from Igor has been repeated. I only hope that the referee's report is not that strong enough, which allows the match commissioner to go ahead and say, okay, only a 1-match ban in the semi-final, and we are taking for granted we are reaching the final. So let's hope that. I keep my fingers crossed, because all said and done, Igor's done quite good lot with the boys, and having him on the sidelines will be a huge morale booster for the team.
I think very important that any coach is always on the sidelines, like Nilanjan mentioned. It's always helpful to know that your coach is always there backing you up. But it's going to be the second time that I'm going to the Kandirva this time, and Igor's team match is not there. It's quite funny. Like,
Acha, is it
I
linked in
remember,
to you? Igor does not want to. He doesn't want to sit in the dugout when you are in the stands. Is that the reason?
Stand.
it looks like Arunava because I told my brother last time. I was like, okay, fine, he's not there today, but when we come back next Saturday, he's gonna be there, and now he's not there again. So it is quite funny. And just one more question, guys, with regards to the starting 11 and who plays. Is there any chance at all Sahal makes it for you as a number 10 in this team? Harry, do you think he makes it for you?
I think second match may I think it will be interesting. I think it will be between Asik Kurunian and Sahal Abdul Samad. Patel will be there definitely. And Asik Kurunian looks promising in this match, particularly in first half. He looked promising. And आप देखिए सहल अब्दुल समद का नेपाल के सामने भी हमने फर्स्ट हाफ देखा he made some mistake, so I think it will be interesting choice. My choice would be, I think I will go with Asik Kurunian because this front four for looks for me is much more, you can say कि अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड जो फाइनल थर्ड में जो डिसीजन मेकिंग थे वो थोड़ी सी वो दिख रहा था लिंकअप जो मतलब हमने नेपाल के सामने भी फर्स्ट हाफ में देखा कि काफी बार हम फाइनल थर्ड में पहुंच रहे थे लेकिन एक बंदा पास निकल रहा है दूसरा बंदा वहां पे अवेलेबल नहीं हो रहा था लेकिन इसमें देखा कि थोड़ा सा वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है एंड ही इज आई थिंक द मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट थिंग इज आसिफ कुरुनियन इज कॉम्प्लीमेंटिंग द रोल टू सुनील छेत्री दैट्स द मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट पार्ट आप देखिए सुनील सर आज आपको इतना ज्यादा डीप ड्रॉप नहीं दिखे कि जो आपको नेपाल के गेम में दिख रहे थे कि पूरा मिडफील्ड में आके बॉल रिसीव कर रहे हैं फिर वहां से आगे लेके जा रहे हैं वो आज नहीं दिखा आज आई थिंक आसिफ कुरुनियन नोरेमस दोनों ने आई थिंक उस रोल को काफी अच्छी तरीके से जो नंबर 10 वाले रोल था उसको काफी अच्छी तरीके से कॉम्प्लीमेंट किया और वो दिखा इफेक्ट तो आई वुड गो विथ आसिफ कुरुनियन इन दी लेबनान गेम आई थिंक आई विल गो विथ this front four which we have played against the Kuwait.
Arunava, any preferences for you?
I would say in the current setup, I would prefer Ashik. Again, as I said earlier, I think that the legwork that he does, he supports Sunil. And I've always said, I feel that if you allow Sunil to drop a little more into a number 10 position, it saves his energy. We needed that energy in the 46th, 47th minute. And therefore, he was able to score that goal. And we need it even more against the stronger sides. The question is are we going to do... So therefore that's the point, right? And I would pick Ashik over Sahal. I think again he gives that different dimension. Sahal is more of a playmaker, and I think the question is, can we afford to have a playmaker in the squad, or do we rather need runners? And I think we need more runners, people who are going to cover ground. And again, even though I would like to have that creativity from Sahal in that, because he has those moments which are there, right? Which are very, very special moments. So therefore, at the moment there is, and again, not to forget, we've got a few players who've not been part of this June window. Brandon, Yasir, so there are others as well. So let's see. But I wanted to add something before that to our defensive idea, where you mentioned who's going to replace Jingan with Bheke or Mehta being a question. Maybe, I don't know, maybe because of experience and how he played in the ISL, maybe Pritham Kotal might be an option for that centre-back position. I don't know. I mean, if he's thinking out of the box, someone who's done very well, especially towards the end of the ISL, Pritham was the leader who took ATK Mohun Bagan to the title. Maybe that might be something to think about and ponder, where I feel he's better in that position rather than on that position on the wing as a right back.
Yeah. Fair enough. It'll be interesting to see who gets the nod in India's semi-final clash against Lebanon on Saturday. Guys, if you are anywhere around Bangalore, make it to the stadium. Otherwise, catch the game from home. Either way, we're not going to see Igor Stimac. So that's that.
Rahul, Igor Stimac might watch the match with you. I don't know. So maybe you might get a chance to watch in the stand. Invite him to the West Block, no? So he'll watch it.
Yeah, I think we should. I think he'll probably have a fun time. But yeah, guys, please subscribe to SportsKhabri, arunfoot, and Curious Harry. Guys, everybody's doing their content of Indian football, and we want to stay up to date and have nice conversations like this. Anything else, guys, you want to add on before the semi-final?
As I said, I have to now try and change my travel plans for Bangalore. I get into Bangalore on the 1st, and I thought I will be on the roads of Bangalore while India is playing in the afternoon. So thought I will get to watch it on a device. So therefore now let me see if I get for 7:30 Srikantirava, if I can make it. So that's now my scheduling headache. But I would love to see again India play, and yeah, it's most likely Lebanon. I mean, it has to be an upset then from the Maldives to somehow make that group interesting again. And but I would hope that we can take care of sort of the learnings. I think today was a good match because we have a lot of learnings, of things that should not happen. I think that's always also important. If things are running right, you don't realize what are your problems, what are your issues, what are your deficiencies. I think you saw that today, quite a bit of it. And now it's a question of character. And I think now it's also a question of that Sunil will have to lead from the front as he always does, but maybe even more after this sort of the boat was rocked. You hit something, and you have to get it again to clear waters and plain waters, because it has been quite smooth sailings over the last sort of 6 matches before that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Nilanjan. Thanks, Arunava. Thanks, Harry, for joining. And we can hopefully catch up after the semi-final and talk about the final. Or wait, is the final? The final's on a Tuesday.
It's on the 4th, yeah.
Probably,
So
we'll
fourth, I'm certainly at the stadium. So maybe we can. 5th, I'm traveling. Maybe let's see. Maybe we can do 4th night, or maybe 5th we'll try and maybe do something, or maybe we'll do something special from the stadium. I know. Let's see, Rahul. Let's maybe think about it.
We'll figure that out and let you guys know. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good night.
Good night.